We're now joined by assistant coach Steve Price and offensive lineman Jacob Laub of Lake Braddock High School. Guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Guys, so good to have you here. And I got to start off with Coach Poythress. He's done such a good job with this program. Obviously, Coach Price, your longtime coach at Lake Braddock and lacrosse, you know something about good coaching. Why is Coach Poythress such a good coach?
Well, first of all, I want to apologize that he couldn't be here, but you know he's a great dad, and he's got two wonderful kids. He's got an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, and he had another previous engagement that he couldn't break. One of the reasons that Coach Poythress is as successful as he is because he knows how to put players in the positions to be successful. And I think a lot of coaches don't do that. And if you look at over the years what we've done, he's allowed players to be successful by strictly telling them, I want you to play this spot. Even though you may want that boy wanted to play another spot, there's no question he's been great at convincing someone to change the position, learn a new spot, and be successful at that spot. And it's happened time and time again. And he's changed the offense and the defense based on the type of players that we've had over the years. And you can see what kind of success we've had.
And it's funny you mentioned that, Coach, and at least what we've been hearing in the media, that you guys are maybe going to more of a run-based attack this year than in the past where you guys were really a throw-it-around team. What's the reasoning behind it?
Well, we've got some bigs up front now. We've got only two players from last year's team. Big Jake here, he's a 300-pounder, 6'3", 320 or so. And Andrew Park, who's a Maryland recruit, he's 6'5", at the tight end. So we went to a double tight end set. But on the rest of the offensive line, we've got some bigs, and when you have those type of players, you can't coach that. That's God-given talent. You got to change the offense, and we have spent a lot of time in the offseason revamping our offensive sets.
And of course, you got to look at the two guys in the backfield, and Atkins and Mansoray, obviously very talented players.
Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous, because Mansoray not being the biggest player, but absolutely can stop on a dime and give you 9 cents change. The way he changes direction, I mean, he can really, really play. And of course, Lamont, who's a UVA recruit, multi-talented kind of player, can catch the ball, can run the ball, can play defense. As a matter of fact, Abe plays defense as well. So those two players are a big, big threat. So it's going to be like pick your poison, you know.
Jake, let's get over to you now. Obviously, as an offensive lineman, it's one of those things that I always say, offensive linemen love to run block over pass block. How excited are you this year that you guys may be having that more of a run game focus when it comes to the offensive side?
Yeah, we just get to grind out teams every play. Every play we put in, we have Lamont or Abe back there. They put in the hard work, and if you keep blocking for them, you never know if they're going to break a run out. Or Abe was great at breaking tackles, so you never know when to stop blocking. So you just got to keep going, keep driving teams on to the end zone, score some points.
And how fun is it to block for two guys like that who are game breakers that sometimes even if I miss my block, they might make a play anyway?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Every time you step out there and you make a block and you make a great block, then it equals at least 10 yards. So they can break it open at any chance.
Coach, getting back, one of the things we talked about, the quarterback battle this year. In the past, you guys had that one dedicated signal caller guy really is going to lead your way. Coming into the year, two guys, Tyrone Crabb, Jack Darcy. How is that going for the team, and do you guys have something settled in that yet?
I think it's going great, because I don't think there's going to be one specific player that's going to take that spot. Each of those players has strengths, and I think we're going to use both of those players with their strengths. Ty is a great runner and can be a threat to throw the ball as well, because every time you think he might throw the ball or run the ball, he's going to do the opposite. Jack can do the same thing. So, they're both going to fit into the program. It's not going to be one guy's doing the whole thing, the whole game.
Coach, also want to ask you about the defense. Obviously, any great team's going to have a good defense. Who are some folks to watch for the Bruins this year on that side of the ball?
We're big up front again. We're pretty new up front. We only have one returning defensive lineman that's a starter, Dan Kelly, and he was an inside player last year. I was on the defensive line. I'm now back on the offensive line. And he's a defensive end now this year, but we have some bigs up front. Jesse Elliott, who was a JV player last year, now is a huge kid. He's 6'3", 330, very, very strong. And what's his name? Henry Rudisil who's lost 40 pounds, who was 280, and is now like 240 to get a little quicker. Very, very strong. And those are the guys on the inside. And of course, the most outstanding one is Luis Hernandez, who really could be a very special kid at the D end.
Jake, I want to ask you one last question. Obviously, last year it was a great season, kind of till the end, where you dropped the last game of the season to South County and you fall to the eventual state champions in Westfield. Is there any extra motivation for you guys as you're kind of using yourself to fuel yourselves on that kind of late end of the season that didn't go the way you wanted it to?
Yeah, definitely. Like when we come out to practice, like everyone thinks about the game we got to play that week, but it's all about playing South County. It's all about beating Westfield. Coach P always talks about it, brings up playing Westfield, how we lose to them at the last game in the last 3 years, and it's just important to us that we got to get past this hump and then maybe we can get to the state championship.
Well, obviously, you guys have a team that's always competitive, always a great team. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us today. Remember, folks, you can stay up to date on all your high school football in the DMV by checking out the Prep Zone every week on DMVSTREAM.com.